Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We got started a minute late. We were early the last couple of weeks. We had to make it like fashionably late. So it's a good quiet start. I'm Heather. That's Amber. We're the Broadway Fan Club. Tonight's episode, guys, I'm so looking forward to. In just a couple of minutes.
A doozy.
Oh my God, a doozy and a newsie.
Hi.
But we have one of the co-founders of Broadway Votes, Catherine Markowitz. Cannot wait for you guys to meet her. She's awesome. And we're going to just talk. We're just going to have an open conversation. So join us in the comments. But I think to kick us off, I cannot get enough of this video because I'm a fansy for life. And if you've missed this awesome video that we keep playing over and over and over again, and like I'm going to start singing this version, Broadway Votes did this really cool video. Like 2.5 weeks ago, right, Amber?
Yeah, I think around then.
Yeah. And they brought back like 99% of the Newsies cast, and they did a whole shoot to like encourage people to get out and vote. But you've got like people from South, people from The Outsiders, people from Little Shop. It was so cool. So sit back, relax, enjoy this video. Then we're going to get into some Broadway news. We're going to talk to Catherine. Again, open conversation. We're not going to tell you who to vote for. We're just going to encourage you to get out and vote. My dad said he's going to write himself in for president. God help us all. So stand by. Let's go ahead and share this video and rock and roll, kids. I'm excited. I really am.
I am too. Yeah.
It'll be a good show. All right, here we go. And if I start to sing, I'm so sorry. But it might happen.
All right. One more time. All right, Reggie, blow on it. Here we go. Yes, come on. Oh, look at that. That was a good one, man. Again. Oh.
What are we doing here, fellas? We gotta start this rally.
Why? I ain't running.
This is important. Focus.
Hey, Davey. So, what do you say? I say, what you say is what I say.
Tell him, Jack.
The USA needs our assistance, so here's their orders and I quote: tell everyone in spitting distance to get them off their dumps and vote.
What's voting got to do with me?
Hey, when you vote, you get your say.
I say what I want now.
Hey, running your mouth don't change nothing, Spot. But when you vote, your voice is heard. Now, who wants to go where?
Hit the street in all directions. Let's make freedom ring.
What if some folks got objections?
Tell them, boys, we sing. Yeah, we'll be out there carrying the message far and wide. Don't just sit there, leaving it for others to decide.
Get the lead out.
Make a contribution.
Read the Constitution.
Be part of the solution.
And get out there.
Sound the call to one and all and
Vote, 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 vote.
Now is the time to seize the day. Think of tomorrow, seize today.
Voting protects us as it connects us to our history of hard-won liberty.
lead the way. Head to the polls, we'll lead the way. When we make choices, votes are our voices. On election day, help write the future. And when we're done, we're proud of many. We'll be proud of many. We'll be proud of many. We are
Vote!
Amazing.
It's literally whew. That is well, we'll let the credits roll because there's so many people. Gosh, so what a great way to do it. God's love already. That's it. Great. Woo! All right. Well, that just made me have chills and get emotional. It's so cool. First off, so cool to see like some of my favorite people get together, then like refabricate like some of my favorite Newsy songs and just like a positive message, like so much fun. And I'm like, I can't even like not bring Catherine in right now. So
Right.
without further ado, I'm going to drum roll here. Co-founder of Broadway Votes, Catherine Markowitz, to the stage, please. There she is.
Hi.
Hello.
You're real bopping. I was watching you bop too. I was like,
I
damn.
Can you not bop? Like,
Oh my god,
Right?
if somebody doesn't bop, I'm like,
I
mean,
know.
well,
truly.
welcome to the crazy. Welcome to the show. I feel like we're besties at this point because we've just been talking for so long. And then when Amber and I got the chance to see you and Nelini over in at the Broadway Flea, like it was just like hanging out with great friends. And what you guys have managed to put together in 2024 is just blowing my mind. And we're going to get into so much more of that. But Catherine is here to just help spread the message of voting. So if you guys are looking to kind of check out the website while we're talking, you can check out Broadway-votes.org. You're going to want to go check that out. We're going to keep referring back to it. We're going to have a hell of a show. We're going to have a hell of a time here.
Be fun.
Catherine, you're going to join us from Broadway News. Yeah. Just join in.
Yeah, I'm
What
joining
Amber-
up. Like, tell me all the Broadway news.
I mean, it's kind of like just chit-chatting and spilling some tea. And let's see, what did Amber prepare for us today? What kind of tea are you serving, ma'am?
I need like 2 seconds. I have like one more
seconds.
click. Yeah, and then I'll be
One
good
more
to go. Catherine, is there anything cool you can tell us, like an inside scoop about the shoot while I'm clicking away?
Ooh.
Oh, you only wanted to give one?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I
just
can.
like
Well, first of
one
all, thank
quick-
you. Well, first of all, thank you both for having me. So excited to be here. Here's a fun fact about that whole thing. It literally we did that entire thing from like the first email exchange until release in 6 weeks.
Wow.
nuts.
That's
That's nuts.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
I've
incredible.
done-
True labor of love.
Yeah, I mean it's so cool. And I mean, we can understand that fast growth too. Like we LLC'd June 12th, and to be where we're at now and to have incredible guests like you on our show and to have all these great shows aligning with our fan groups, like it's crazy. The theater community needs people like you to help inspire and help create this community, which we're all about. I think that's why we're all very kindred spirits. Like we just want to help people feel like they belong and that they mean something and that they do have some sort of special superpowers that everybody has. It's great. That's great.
And honestly, that's like the whole theory of Broadway Votes too. And like, kind of like the motivation behind creating this is like the power of fandoms and like fan driven communities and like
You don't know anything about
not
that.
only what the experts but I think oftentimes fandoms as a whole are like so they're such beautiful places for people to
It's a
come
cult.
together.
It's a beautiful.
It is, but it is a beautiful cult, and like to think about what can happen when that cult harnesses the energy it creates together and then uses it for change in the world or to take action can be really powerful. And like to have the opportunity to speak to Broadway fans, like I always say, like musical theater or like Broadway in general is like the longest relationship I've had my entire life. Like it's my first love and it's been the longest love too.
Yeah, it's like the most dysfunctional family ever, but like we put the fun in dysfunctional because there's so many different ways to participate, whether performing or producing or just going and being a patron. There's so many different things, but I think theater fans in general feel that empowerment to kind of sustain those shows and how they're working. And like, I think the best way of explaining that is, and Amber, you probably will agree with me, like we talk about our friends over at Netherlands United for Beetlejuice. Like Beetlejuice happened, then COVID happened, and then they brought Beetlejuice back because there were so many people going, Beetlejuice, like let's get this. And it just shows where these fans lie. So to kind of harness that energy and power for good, like I think it's going to build mountains. It's awesome.
Absolutely. It is electric. It really feels electric.
It really is. You know, I always generally tend to not get involved with politics or discuss politics because one, it's like you're always saying you don't want to do politics, you don't want to do religion, like you don't want to talk about that with your friends or family because it can cause rifts. And I've seen it happen. I will say this year, and I think definitely with like, you know, you guys like Broadway Votes, Broadway for Harris, like all of these different groups that are coming together and like really helping empower and make the push of get out there and do something and take that right or empower that right. I feel more comfortable discussing politics this year and having that conversation. Yeah, like my dad, who's watching this video from a mile and a half down the road, but my dad works at a polling place and like we very much have open conversations all the time. And I try to do it with my mom. And it's like, if I can talk to my parents about voting and why it's important to vote and, you know, either who they're voting for or what their feelings are on the candidates. Like if I can talk to my parents about that, I can talk to anybody about that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, truly. I have so much to say, but I also don't want to stop Broadway news from happening either.
Yeah, no, I'm totally ready for Broadway news.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We can talk Broadway news.
All right, so I always like to end on a lighter note, so I do tend to start with the sadder news first. So first things first, we did get the announcement that Back to the Future is setting a closing date. They did say that their final performance will be on January 5th, 2025, after playing more than 500 performances, which is really sad. That's such a fun show. And it really appeals to such a wide audience because so many people know the movie. So many people know the concept and it's so relatable to so many people.
I think they said like 65% of their audiences have never seen a Broadway show before. It's like the gateway drug into
right.
It's
shows. Like the gateway show. Exactly.
So it's always kind of cool to see that.
Exactly. We have another
I think I might have to log in from my phone because.
Oh, can you not hear me?
I can hear you.
Stand by.
Oh, good. We have Zaylig.
You disappeared. I think it's just the Wi-Fi in the hotel. That's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have Zaylig Williams is still unaccounted for. His family has put out a $10,000 reward for him. So please keep sharing. Please keep talking about it. If those of you who don't know, he was once in Hamilton. He was in MJ the Musical. He is part of our Broadway family. So we want to do everything we can to help bring him home, help his family, get some information on where he is, where he was last seen, just anything we can do.
Yeah, it's going on a month, isn't it?
It is. It's close to a month. He was last seen October 3rd, so almost a full month. Yeah. Terrible. On some brighter notes, we do have some new shows being announced. We have Smash announcing their full cast. Finally
Yes.
announcing that. Caroline Bowman will be joining as Ivy. Robin Herder will be reprising her role as as Ivy, and Karen will be Caroline Bowman. I got them mixed up.
You're
Excuse
okay.
me. Smash.
How dare you? Well, you
How
also
dare
got
I?
to see the workshop of it, didn't you?
I did see the workshop, yes, and it was very fun. It's much different than the TV show, but I would definitely recommend checking it out if you're a fan of the show. Still has
absolutely.
those killer songs that we all know and love from the show, so definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
Now, my obsession of the moment, Sunset Boulevard, which I think is everyone's obsession
Oh,
of the
you're beyond
moment.
obsessed at this point.
We've had a debut with Mandy Gonzalez playing her first show. She's the alternate Norma Desmond. She's doing Tuesday nights, the occasional Monday. So she played her first performance, and then I believe is doing her second one tomorrow night. She had her whole Into the Heights family show up, which was adorable. There was pictures of everyone backstage, super cute. We had their album release, which was live recorded during their London run. That was released on October 25th. So that's very exciting. If you want more Sunset Boulevard like me, I'm sure you've been listening to that album over and over again.
Or listening to Amber talk about the album over and over again.
Over and over again. And then let's see. We had their official opening, which I'm sure you've seen me posting all about in all of our various groups. Because there were so many cross references. I think there was like an Mary post. There was a Boop post.
Yeah.
Yes, I was posting everywhere I could. It was a great opening for them.
They've got to find it a different way that's besides obsessed. It's like obsessed plus.
Right? That's me right now. I'm eat, sleep, and breathing Sunset Boulevard.
There was like a whole article of Nicole Scherzinger, and then they even did like a video of it saying like she has inspired the #1 Halloween costume amongst Twitter fans. And it's just her in the black slip with no shoes on with the blood.
I was going to do it, but can't do it for personal reasons.
Fair.
So,
plus it's sticky. Plus we have plans on Halloween.
Right. We're going to be Death Becomes Her. We're booked and blessed on
And if
Halloween.
anybody is going to Death Becomes Her, you cannot miss us. We're going to be in giant ball gowns.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I finished my corset at 4:00 this morning, y'all.
Speaking of Death Becomes Her.
Oh.
They played their first preview performance. Then had to cancel their second preview performance due to illness within the cast. And then we had a beautiful post on Instagram from the one and only Queen Megan Hilty.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying that she was going to be out of the show for a couple of days because she was ill, and congratulating her understudy, Kaylee Cronin, who is going to be going on as Madeline Ashton. And it was just so sweet, like the words of encouragement and just how like inspiring she was, saying, I always tell my kids when we get to the theater and we see that little white slip that you're about to see some magic in the theater.
Well, we talk about that on the show all the time too. It is ever, and we see it, and like I'm not calling out some of our groups, but the Gatsby group, like every day. Is Eva,
right.
is Jeremy in, are they in? Is because I'm gonna have to change it. Is this person in? And you're like, if there's no guarantee, like literally,
right.
I went to go see Sutton and Aaron in Sweeney, and 15 minutes before show, they put an understudy in, and I was like, I came for Sutton, and I'm, but go see the understudies as much as you can, because if the energy on stage is so electric. And I think Megan even touched on that. Like, it's such a special thing because they want to make sure that those understudies, those swings, those alternates, everybody has a good time, because it's a different kind of show. And I'm sure, Catherine, you're nodding along. You've seen this before. We have friends that run understudies, like understudies.org. So many different people focus on seeing those understudies. It's like understudies bingo. So it's always really fun to kind of see that, because you never know when you're going to get that, like Amber or Lena.
I mean, one of my favorite things is also like swings getting to complete their bingo card.
Yes.
Like doing all the roles they cover. I mean, the work of swings is like
the swing track
heroic.
bingo is real. That life is real.
It is real.
Yeah.
It is real.
Yeah.
I also did a comment about mattress, but like it was Carol Lindsay getting to play Winifred this weekend, who you just saw in the video.
I love Kara and I love Sutton, and I'm like, I want to see both of them, but like, you don't know when Kara's going to be in, or like favoritism call out Cabaret. Like, Alili has been out and everyone's like, oh, why is she out? And I'm pretty sure it's because of Moana. But Gabby Campo, like, my girl is in, and like she is freaking phenomenal. Please go see her. But it's so cool. And like, when you learn about the alternates, like David Marino instead of Eddie Redmayne, like you get to see something special, and you follow them. Talking to people like Jeremy Jordan at one point, guys, was an understudy. He happened to get his big break because he went into something, and then he's insane now. Love him. But like, you never know who you're about to watch. You don't.
It's true.
Everyone's got to start somewhere. And didn't With Death Becomes Her, I think we were talking about it. They haven't even finished like the principal's dresses and costumes.
Right.
So they had to go out and like create a brand new dress for Kaylee, like on the spot, right?
Yes. As far as I'm aware, they had to pick up like little pieces and costumes and kind of throw things together last minute to try to make everything work, because they haven't finished the principal costume, so therefore they haven't finished the understudy costumes.
I mean, it kind of made me feel better, because I'm working on my Madeline dress for Thursday, and I'm like, okay, so I don't really have to have that specific starburst, and I don't have to specifically have like the sleeves. Okay, I can play around with this. Like, I'm like, thank you, costume designers, for making it easier on me.
Right.
But it's such a special time, like, especially when a show starts, and it's got to be such a hard decision to not perform the day after you have your first preview. Like, that's a big thing, and everyone's kind of up in arms, and what do we do? And I think they handled it with such grace and such finesse that I haven't seen anybody disappointed yet.
Yes, absolutely. I actually, because obviously we run that group, I saw lots of people saying that they loved the show. They loved Kaylee in the role, and they were so excited to come back to see the show again, to see it with Megan, because they wanted to see the show again. So it seems like it's one of those shows that's going to be a show that people are going to want to see over and over again anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's a popular IP, but it's brought in. Plus, I mean, you've got Megan Hilty, and I love her.
Right.
I mean, you've got an all-star cast. Michelle Williams, my goodness. But like, I think everyone's just going to go and enjoy it. Talking to Josh Lehman 2 nights ago, last night, and I'm like, how's it going? And it's just everything just rocking and rolling for the whole cast. And I'm watching like the curtain calls, and I'm like, yes, like people are losing their minds in the best way possible. I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'm excited.
All right. Anything left in news?
We do. We had Romeo and Juliet officially opening on October 24th after beginning their previews on September 26th. We had Job playing their final performance of their extended run at the Hayes Theater. Their previews began July 15th. They officially opened on July 30th. And their run originally was set to conclude on September 29th, but they had an extension till October 27th. So good for them getting their little extension in. And then Aisha Jackson, whose Broadway credits include Beautiful, the Carole King musical, Waitress, Once Upon a One More Time, and Frozen, just joined the cast of The Notebook, replacing Joy Woods as Middle Alley at the Schoenfield Theater. So that's very exciting for her. I didn't realize she was the first Black woman that was able to play Frozen or play Anna in Frozen. I didn't realize that she was. So that's very, very cool. And I guess this is our last bit of Broadway news, which I saved the best for last. Most theaters will be going dark on Election Day. We posted a schedule.
We never want to encourage theaters to go dark, but there's a good reason for it.
We did post a schedule on the Broadway Fan Club Facebook page or Facebook group. So go check it out to see what shows will be playing. There are a couple of select performances that will be going on. I believe Cephs will be having a performance that night. I'm not sure what other shows, but of course Cephs will be having a performance that night. It's only right that they are going to be having a show.
Oh, I know people that are specifically going to Cephs that night.
Absolutely.
It's a good place to be after voting while waiting for results.
Absolutely. It was a good place to be before even voting. Like it's such a great show. I didn't know what was going to happen when I walked in on it. And I'm like, all right, when I'm walking into the theater, I'm like, I'm not a political person. And like, I know about the suffragists. Like, I don't know. And I called Amber during intermission. I was like, the show is like the female Hamilton, but better. And she was like, what? And I'm like, there's a freaking song called The Great American Bitch. Are you kidding me? Like, there's so much stuff that I absolutely love about the show. Absolutely. I have a piece of Broadway news that you skipped.
What did I skip?
Our friends at Water for Elephants celebrated their 250th show this weekend.
Oh, I did know that. Yes.
And they gave a special shout out to Wade and to my buddy Gons because they have not missed a show.
Yeah, that's incredible.
250th. That's insane considering that we were there opening night. I feel old, but that doesn't make any sense. Like that's a weird, I feel Broadway old just seeing like 250. Great.
Yeah, that's incredible. Fabulous. Well done.
I guess we can get to the matter at heart here, Catherine. I'm just going to throw the spotlight on you here.
So I tried to have a nice segue about
voting. You had a nice
segue,
and then I had to ruin it. But no, really, we're happy that you're here. We want you to just utilize this as your platform to kind of explain what Broadway Votes is. You're like, please ask me questions. I will throw all of them at you. I was like, it's okay. You can talk for the whole time. She's like, just ask me questions. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're talking about, 6.5 weeks. So where did Broadway Votes, what was deep inside of your gut that you're like, this has to happen and we've got to do this now?
So Broadway Votes started back in the spring. So the video was 6 weeks, start to finish. But Broadway Votes started in the spring. And it was a lot of things kind of coalescing at once between myself and my co-founder, Nelini Stamp. And it basically came down to this moment of wanting to unify people because everything, and it continues to feel so divided. And really seeing an opportunity to unify people and then bring theater makers and theater fans and theater goers all together around a message of joy and unity. And so that was kind of the kind of idea that we started with. And then over the next few months, we really started to kind of think about what's the best way to make impact with that, and including, I think theater makers are uniquely equipped, and I say theater makers very broadly, right? It goes from the talent on stage to everyone off stage and behind the scenes. But everything you just talked about in the news too, right? At the end of the day, so much of theater is the creative and people coming together with their myriad of skills and talents and creating something really special. And voting can be dry, right? Civic engagement. I mean, Heather, you said earlier, right? Getting involved in politics. And I always say kind of it's politics, but it doesn't have to be politics, capital P,
Right.
in the way that I think a lot of people think about. I mean, like, yes, I can go on and on about how important voting is because even just for the arts, right? At the end of the day, government funding, right? You look at the UK and the way that theater is funded from their government and like how that all happens. And maybe you're voting for funding of the arts here in the United States as well. But it's also like all different kinds of elections. And we've also been talking so much, like it's amazing to launch this year in this presidential election year, right? Where there's definitely more conversation and more people talking about voting. But we're also not going anywhere after November 5th, Broadway Votes, because there's a lot of elections.
Yeah.
All the time. And local elections probably have more direct impact on most of our lives than who ultimately is president. I mean, that's also incredibly important, and you should vote with who best aligns with your values in the world you want to see. But local elections, school boards, town councils, mayorships, like those all affect us as individuals directly. And so we want to make sure and equip people. And the way to do that's through joy, right? Like there's so much fear out there and like all the things we can lose. But like Broadway Votes has this amazing opportunity to capture that joy and that energy and this industry and the fans and the theater goers, right? Everyone sees theater, right? It might be in the high school. It might be their church, it might be their local touring production, their regional theater, Broadway. We're here to, kind of touch the gamut of it.
Well, you're mobilizing.
And mobilize.
Right. You're mobilizing, like, not only are you mobilizing, shows, but you're mobilizing the people that are attending. And it can be, a little local performance of this, but you're still getting involved. And it's kind of like the gateway drug into it. And it's so smart. Now, did you have a background in theater before doing this? Like what, like, obviously it's a super genius idea, but was there a background that you're like, I know we talked like theater's your number one love, but.
I mean, I'm a producer. That's my main gig. I'm one of the co-producers on Suffs, and I'm part of the partnerships team there.
Oh, you are?
Love all the Suffs love. And I've worked on a number of shows, some which you can see behind me. But I also come from this background in nonprofits and organizing. And the thing that's always kind of been my personal fire that keeps me going is that intersection of art and activism, like how art and theater in particular can inspire change in the world. And so,
I think I would have put that on a t-shirt. No, seriously, but you hit the nail on the head. It really does.
Yeah. And when you were saying about local elections, I had a friend who was a city councilwoman in my city, maybe close to about a decade ago for a couple of terms. And she won her seat by 6 votes.
Whoa.
So when people say like, oh, my vote doesn't matter, my vote doesn't make a difference, in those like local elections and elections like that, it truly does make a difference. Like you can be that vote that makes a difference in those elections.
Yeah, or you can be that person that has a conversation with somebody that either helps them see something differently or at least gets a conversation going. I think that's really key for sure.
It is. And voter turnout is really low in this country. I mean, there's no way to beat around the bush. Voter turnout's really low in America.
It will tell you.
And so we got to change that.
Yeah, I mean, my dad is here in Port St. Lucie, and he works his polling place. And since they opened up early voting, I think it was about a week ago on the 21st, he said every day, because he's there like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., he's like, it's just nonstop. So at least here, it seems like people are starting to have a little bit of a turnout. And I unfortunately, guys, if you realize I have a background today, I'm in Port St. Lucie because my step grandmother passed away. So I wanted to early vote today, but I'm going to do that tomorrow because I want to make sure that my voice is heard too.
Yeah, I have a voting plan. My voting plan is to go either tomorrow or Wednesday as well. I would like to get in for early voting because I am also a voting official. I volunteer, I vote, I work with my community, and I work the polls So usually I'm a ballot clerk, or I'll check. I'm a what they call as a checker. So I take your ID and I check your address and make sure, you're headed to the right location, making sure someone hasn't checked in with your name already. And then you get your ballot and you go vote. But this year, I think I'm going to be checking early voting. So that'll be interesting to do something new this year.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
amazing.
it's pretty interesting.
Thank you for the work you do.
Yeah, I would
That's really
absolutely
for us.
recommend it to anyone. If you're like looking to get involved in a certain way, call your town clerk. That's what I did. I just wanted to get involved and do something a little extra. So I just reached out to City Hall. I said, who do I contact? They said, you're going to want to reach out to the town clerk. She was very helpful. She just said, all right, all you have to do is you go to one training and then you go to the event, and it's very, very simple. Don't worry about like being like, oh, I'm going to mess up, because it's very simple. I promise you can absolutely do it if it's something that you're interested in doing.
Now,
and I'm happy to answer questions. You can reach out to me.
You said 2 words that might scare some people, though. You said voting plan. And now, Catherine, I know
it's not that scary.
It's not that scary. No. But I mean, we talked about this prior, is that people don't understand. And we've talked about putting a voting plan together and like what that actually entails. Give us a rundown as to the best way, if you don't mind, of how somebody can prepare to go vote, whether it's early or whether it's on election day. Like, what should they look for? What should they kind of like have going? Like, help guide them.
Happy to be the Sherpa. That's the name, right? The voting Sherpa right now. So what do we mean? First of all, let's start with what do we mean when we say make a voting plan, right? First and foremost. So for me, that means putting it on my calendar, right? Like, I know if something's not in my Google Calendar, like it's not happening. Right? Like, if I don't put go to the grocery store in my Google Calendar, like we're definitely ordering in takeout that night for dinner, right? Like, so first and foremost, it's like when, right? Like, just committing to doing it. I mean, also going back to like a second for like this year versus other elections as well, and local and presidential and federal, all those things. We're in a presidential election year. Turnout is higher than it is in other years. Lines are longer. You might be experiencing that. I know early voting, I live in New Jersey, started on Saturday this weekend, and one of the early voting states was having 1.5 to 2 hour long waits all weekend.
Wow.
Versus like I'm a little geeky, and I vote in every single election. And usually I can walk in and out, and there's like one other person in there for local elections. And that's the difference, though. It's like
here in Orlando, it's like down around the block. Like, I think the longest I ever waited was 4
every election, though, or just this year because it's presidential?
No, I mean, presidential elections, but like the last 20 years. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I vote every election as well, and it's usually in and out for those, treasurer or city councilman, or whoever those small elections, whenever you're voting for someone tiny, you're usually in and out.
Yeah,
totally. So that's where like I think we can really show some improvement over the next few years. But voting plans, so we have a tool on our website, broadway-votes.org, but there's a lot of great tools out there. So if you're using another one,
I'm going to show them what you're talking about.
Great.
Look at this visual.
You go.
All right.
Ta-da! Okay, so if you go to voting tools, the first tab on the site, right? There are places with same-day voter registration. I don't have the list in front of me, but there's actually a lot of states that offer same-day voter registration. So if you have not registered to vote, unfortunately, in some states, including my own, it's too late. But there are a number of states, including Michigan, Nevada, Wisconsin, where you can register to vote on election day. So keep that in mind if you don't live in one of the other states. So there's like a few different things in terms of it. It's like, what are your, where, it's the W's essentially. Where, where is your polling place? And it's probably different for early voting, if that's available in your state, than it is on election day.
Right.
So even for me, right, election day, it's literally at a church a block from my house.
Nice.
On early voting, I'd have to drive about 12 minutes to like the county rec center by the local little zoo, right, in Jersey. And that's the difference. So where is your polling place and when are you doing this, right? So like go on your calendar, figure out if this is early voting, election day. This year it's always first Tuesday in November. That happens to be November 5th this year. And where your polling place is. And then check the hours, right? For early voting, weekend hours are different than weekday hours potentially. Election day hours too. Some states close at 8, some close at 9. Figure out what your polling place hours are as well. Then, I should have started this earlier. Voting laws are state by state, which you probably have already gathered by a lot of these context clues. So, some states have ID laws. Some states don't have ID laws. What are ID laws? They're different levels of it. Again, under these voting tools, you can get all of that information. Also, working with our partners at Vote Riders, which are an incredible tool to find all of that out. Yes,
here's
our
all the partners
page.
with Broadway Votes.
Yeah,
right
there's actually more.
okay.
Website's a little outdated. My apologies. Calling me out here. You're so good. Yes, where was I? Voter ID check. Yes. So like those are all the things. And then the big question is the what, right? What are you voting for? What's on your ballot? So not only is it a presidential election year, Congress is literally on the ballot every 2 years. So you are voting for your congressperson. There's a number of Senate elections open, statewide elections, county, city, town, all of those things. The school board election where I am is very, very hot. And there's slates and there's 3 seats open. And so honestly, for me personally, that's what I'm really trying to educate myself on right now, or who are the 3 people? There's 7 candidates. Who are the 3 I'm actually going to vote for when I go to vote? My voting plan is I love voting on election day. It's like a weird thing.
Yeah.
It is. It's a different kind of energy. I really, really think early voting is amazing. I grew up, my mom always took me to vote with her growing up on election day. Early voting wasn't a thing where I grew up. And so now I take my kids, I have 2 daughters, to vote with me every election. And so election day morning, on our way to preschool, we're going to the polling place and we're voting together.
Now, did they get the I voted sticker when they went?
They do. I think I saw in New York City on like my Instagram, some people were actually at future voter stickers. I guess some places
we give out
stickers for the kids.
Stickers at the ones that I work at.
Well, and Catherine, you were talking about it too. Like for those people that have gone through absentee voting or like mail-in, if they didn't get a sticker, you guys actually have stickers too from Broadway Votes, right?
We do.
Yeah.
We have special I voted stickers that we made. If you are watching this and you did vote absentee or your polling place was out, DM us on Instagram. We're at Broadway.votes, or you can go on our website and email me and we will get you a sticker because everyone deserves a sticker for voting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's like, it feels
like, that's
good.
the best part. Well, and I remember like when I first started voting, I think I told you this, but I graduated high school when I was 17 and I couldn't vote. And I was so sad because all my friends have the I voted sticker and like you could go to McDonald's and get a free Big Mac or something silly. And then I always looked forward to it because it was incentivized. And then I started to become an adult and I'm like, oh, I know I want to vote because of this and this and this. But I think it's great too because people are incentivized with not a silly little sticker, but to me, it's like, it's a sticker and it's just like, it's a piece of paper that sticks onto your skin for like 5 seconds or your shirt for 5 seconds, but still do it. It shows you're able to be proud of it. And it's something that like, I look forward to just like having that. And my friends are always posting pictures every time, like they're putting it like in their car, it's on their shirt, it's on their face. And they love that. And I know we have a giveaway coming up soon too, with you guys, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But yeah, I mean, I think that's great. Getting your kids started early is really important. And they don't necessarily need to know everything. Like, they're just being educated, or they just are it's a comfortable environment for them to go into and, see what's going on and kind of be used to it. So by the time they are able to vote, it's not like an apprehensive thing. It's more of like, oh, this is what my mom took me to. It's very smart.
Yeah.
Exactly. But also, I recognize, and we all talk about this, that's not everyone's experience. And if it wasn't your experience growing up, it can be intimidating going to vote for the first time. You don't know what you're going to get. And the other thing I just want to mention is there's a lot of protections out there too. If you are nervous, there is a voter protection hotline, which I should have. I will tell you it right now. It's actually really easy. Hold on.
Okay. And
I don't want to say.
No, that's okay.
Yes.
While you look that up, I can also talk about check with your local communities. I know in Central Florida, there are several churches or community groups that are offering rides if you don't have a ride to the polls. And I know we were talking about it before we went live tonight. Like, if you guys have like an elderly neighbor or somebody that doesn't have a car, like, offer to do that. Like, you're not telling them who to vote for, but like, they might not be able to get to the polls for a certain reason. They don't drive, they lost their license, they don't have a car, whatever. Just offer that to them, and maybe having that opportunity, they'll be able to go and they'll be appreciative of it. But you're just doing it because you're going there too. So why not make it a field trip?
Exactly. And there's it's 1-866-R-VOTE. I thought that's what it was. I just wanted to confirm. And that's just a good number to have kind of in the back of your head. It should be a fun, easy experience. There are some rules of like what you can or can't wear, how close things are. But at the end of the day, and honestly, like, credit to Tommy Bracco. He wrote this on his Instagram post about like being a part of the video. I love him so much. Is that this is something everyone should be able to talk about with everyone. It's nonpartisan. It's just about voting and making your voices heard. Partisan stuff can get really sticky. I'll also say, like, with Broadway Votes, we don't expect anyone to be nonpartisan in their own lives and when they show up at the polling place. But this is something we can all kind of put that partisan stuff to the side and just talk about the importance of voting, making sure you have a voting plan, that your neighbors have a voting plan, that your elementary school art teacher has a voting plan. It's at this point, the election is next Tuesday. So what we're really trying to encourage everyone to
is coming up. I feel like we've been
talking about here.
It's like, it's here.
It's here. And so text 3 friends right now, right? Just be like, hey, did you vote already? If not, when are you voting? Right? What's your voting plan? You do not have to ask anyone who they're voting for, what issues are important to them. If you want, you can share what's important to you and why you're voting. But convincing people of your thing, that's a personal thing between you and another person. The importance of voting is universal. And we're really lucky to live in a country where we have the right to vote for who we want to represent us. And it's a beautiful thing. And do it. It's fun. Yes. Oh, Tommy.
I know. It took me a while to pull it up, but it has his whole thing. And he is just sharing so much love for Broadway Votes too. So it's really wonderful.
Broadway Votes loves Tommy.
I think everybody needs to love Tommy. If they don't, go love Tommy. He doesn't get enough love in his life.
Really one of the most wonderful human beings I have ever had the pleasure
for
to meet.
The video shoot, you said he was the one that was there the longest time, right?
Oh my gosh, it was a 12-hour shoot day. And he was there, I think, close to the full 12 hours. It was a long day. We also had over 100 background performers in it.
And everyone volunteered.
But the energy, pretty much, yeah. And the energy in the room was palpable. I cried almost the entire day. It was very emotional because it was just so moving to watch everyone show up and be so present. Also, the dedication at the end of the video, unfortunately, it was very awful. Gavin passed away that day that we were shooting the video.
That's
As we
great.
were taking our lunch break, the news broke. And we all love Gavin so much, and the commitment, because Gavin also was so committed to the cause and voting and activism, and everyone just really embraced that to push through the rest of the day. And we realized in that moment we were doing it for Gavin, as well as just because we all supported this work. And
Right.
it was a beautiful thing to witness. It was heart-wrenching, and really what came out of it was so special.
You can
And we
feel
hope we did.
You can feel the energy and the emotions coming through it. Like, I'm not making it up when I'm like, ooh, I have chills, or I'm like tearing up. Like, and that's just one video that you guys have done. You guys are
Yes, another's coming tomorrow.
Oh, another one's exclusive release. You'll hear it now.
I can't actually say what it is yet, but around 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
All right, 10 a.m.
So
Eastern tomorrow. Keep an eye on Broadway Votes on what, Insta, Facebook, and the website?
Instagram, Instagram there.
9:59 a.m.
Yes, Google.
But also tomorrow is a holiday called Vote Early Day. And it's also our kickoff to what we're calling Broadway Votes Week, which is for the next week leading up to Election Day, a week of mobilization and a week of action, encouraging people to vote. So a lot of shows will have playbill stuffers for the next week, with a QR code directing you to those voting tools. We've been working with Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. They kicked off their Red Bucket season on Sunday, yesterday. I think that was their kickoff. They just kicked it off. And we've collaborated with them, and for the next week they have a call to vote at the end of their speeches. So if you're seeing
I've seen a lot of them including their please votes in their speeches, which has been really great.
And we love Broadway Cares. We partner with them for bracelet sales. We do a special Broadway Cares bracelet with our Etsy shop that $1 from each one of our bracelet sales goes right over to Broadway Cares as well.
We love them. And it's Tom's last Red Bucket season as
executive
director, which is so sad.
That's insane. Well, he came out at Broadway Flea and like everyone lost their minds. Like, it was just so cool to see.
It's so cool. And we've been really grateful for them and their partnership and our partnerships with the theater owners who have been so wonderful and supportive of this work, and the shows themselves and the producers and general managers and everyone who works on them and the performers. And so lots coming up for the next week. But at the end of the day, it's just find joy, right? Find joy in voting. This is so many people I talk to are so stressed. One way or another, no matter who you support, everyone's really stressed about the election. And it doesn't have. Choose joy, choose happiness, choose what's possible instead of the fear of what might otherwise be. Because joy is also contagious in a much more motivating way. And so when we choose joy and we choose to share our excitement about the election and our excitement about what voting, it actually can inspire people more. So that's kind of like my soapbox.
No, I love that.
Thing, but
Amber and I talked about voting. Gosh, Amber, when did we do our first episode about getting out and vote? When we started talking about Broadway Votes and Broadway for Harris and just I was like, vote for a bottle of water. Like, just go vote. And it was probably about maybe 3 months ago. We were just kind of starting about it. It was a random conversation. It wasn't a planned conversation like tonight's episode is. But we were talking about it. And then we started getting like a couple of people who were like, I can't believe you politicized the episode. We're like, dude, we're literally telling you, like, just go vote. It's not politicizing anything. We're just saying utilize what you were given as an American citizen. Like, go vote. We're not telling, like, we don't care who you vote for. Just go do it. If you don't vote, then it's a vote for the person you don't want, and just go do it. So, we really haven't had a lot of pushback since then. I think there's only like, one or two people, right, Amber?
Yeah, not very.
No. And you don't see a lot of
amazing.
I haven't seen a lot of negativity or actually any negativity about like, you guys or any of the other groups that are put together that are, just saying it. I haven't seen anything negative, and we even featured like the rally. Like that was so much fun to watch, and like there's just
Amazing.
I've never seen the theater community. I think we were talking about this pre-show. I've never seen the theater community in such effort. Like, yes, there was Broadway for Biden. Yes, there's so many things. This year feels different to me. It feels like everybody was like ready to mobilize and like, let's just encourage people to find joy. And you do. I think that's a great way of putting that. You don't have to be worried about your soapbox. Like that is the best way to stand for it.
And we also just want people to keep going. Yeah, I want to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Because I loved when I could pull the lever 25 years ago when we voted. Yep, it was. I think that was, what got me interested in the whole process of getting to go vote. You get to pull the curtain and go stand behind the thing.
Did you also have that big red thing that you like? I grew up in Pennsylvania too. I grew up in Bucks County, which is now like one of the hotbeds for the election. But like you would walk into because it was an actual booth, and you would like pull this big red thing. I remember being too young, like not too young, like too small to actually be able to do it myself, and then like finally getting old and big enough that I could like actually pull it.
Right.
Adorable.
I feel like we're aging ourselves.
No, not at all.
No,
the
not
thing
at
that got
all.
me, like, starting to learn about it, I was telling you guys the other day, I think it was 4th or 5th grade. And so with my concussion right now, my short-term memory is crap. My long-term memory, it's like I'm there. But we used to do, so I was in the space program, a special program for academic and creative education. I don't know why I still remember that. But we used to do like different videos or like different things for the school. And we had, it was like Ross Perot, George Bush, and Bill Clinton, like that election. That's really going to age myself right now. But it was like everybody was acting as that candidate, and we're kids and we have no idea. So like the big thing was like Ross Perot's ear. So like the kid had like fake ears on. But it just kind of normalized it. And I think that's really what it comes down to is normalizing going and voting. It's not like this big propaganda. It's not crazy. You're not going to get bum rushed by like 30 people telling you what to do. Like just go do your civic duty. I think is what it comes down to.
Well, and for me also, right, like as Broadway fans, right, like people are voting on like the Broadway World brackets, right? Like there's like how many people who are part of the fan club universe that you have created here vote, like fill out ballots or vote on these online polls or like the Broadway.com awards, right? Like everyone has an opinion on like the best replacement for a male performer this year or whatever it is. And like, and I think being able to carry that same excitement and passion for theater and Broadway over to the polls for public elections, I think
your kids, it should be a national movement. You're absolutely right. You bring it about like the brackets. I think I've done like what the spookiest one is. And it's just like click, 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 okay, and then you just watch it go. And I think that it's very approachable.
We all vote all the time. I mean, anyone who's like chronically online, like I am, like you vote on things all the time. Like Instagram stories, like, oh, here's a poll. Sure, I'll vote on that.
Yeah. Right. I mean, people technically are, choosing one over the other when they're coming over to our groups too. There's other fan groups for certain shows. I mean, we do run 98% of them on socials. But there are multiple groups for different things. And, we've always kind of kept like, we're not going to step on anyone's toes. People go, why don't you guys have an outsiders group? Because there was already an outsiders group and we're not going to try to step on their toes. So they can choose to go to that fan group or come to us. But like, it's approachable for everybody. We're nonpartisan, I guess, when it comes to fan groups. We're here to support those, here to support the fans and create that community. And, it's not, you have to pick one over the other. It's just go do it. Like just encourage and support the show. So really it's such a wonderful idea. And, now platform that you guys have created. It's inspiring. It truly is.
Right.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. We're having fun. Yeah. Honestly, like it's fun. And it's really fun seeing people be creative. We're gonna have a Halloween costume contest for people to encourage friends. Official announcement forthcoming later this week. But like, there's fun ways to do this. It doesn't have to be drab. It doesn't have to be watch every debate to educate yourselves. Like, turn it into a game, right? Like, we gamify so much of our lives already.
Yeah.
And also, voting doesn't have to be like, your vote is your vote and it is private who you vote for.
Right.
Going to vote does not have to be a solitary activity. That's the other thing. Like, make a plan to vote with your friends. Like, make a plan to vote with your family. Like, so a lot of offices I'm hearing are closed on election day.
Go.
Yeah.
Oh my God, please do happy hour before and 4, then go vote afterwards. Actually, maybe I shouldn't encourage that.
Right.
8 years ago, literally my friends and I did breakfast for dinner. So I cannot make this up. We all voted. We all went. We waited in line together. We voted. And then we all went to Denny's because it was a thing that was open later and they happened to be showing the election results. So we sat at Denny's in one booth for like a couple of hours and just we're watching it like it was the World Series. Like it was just, but it was fun because we were seeing like live numbers. And I really like that. It is gamifying things are very important right now because it just.
And also not that. But like, make a playlist, right? Like, what music? Like, I mean, maybe this is like, now my brain just moves a million miles an hour sometimes. But like, should like, I kind of want the Facebook group. Like, is there a post where like everyone collaborates on a playlist that like can then go on Spotify?
One of those. Why don't we just do that?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's like the Broadway going to vote playlist, and it's like something that people can tune into. And music is not illegal at polling places and outside of them. Like, turn it into a party. There's like a whole movement of that.
With it. No, I think let's see if we can put together a playlist between the Broadway Votes socials and our socials. And then I have Spotify. I'll just put a Spotify list together. We can share it for everybody. I love it.
I love it. And then like people turn out and like maybe it Seize the Day. Maybe it's.
I mean, I do wake up every single morning to Seize the Day. We had Jeff Calhoun on the show, like a month and a half ago. And Jeff
I saw him at the Romeo and Juliet opening, by the way, and I introduced myself after you shared everything.
Yes. Were you like, Heather, our favorite pain in the ass, said to say hello? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeff is just.
But I did tell him I was going to be on tonight, and he's wonderful.
Yeah, I love him.
Yay.
He's so good. He really embraced us with open arms, and he has such a wonderful, rich history of being in theater. But I told him, I was like, first off, Newsies. Going back to like this incredible video, like first off, when I found out that you guys were doing this, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be every 5 seconds refreshing the page. Secondly, it's my comfort show. And it's a term that I learned during COVID because a couple of other people are like, do you have that one show that you like go to, listen to the cast recording, and it's just kind of like it's your jam, like it's like listening to the same song over and over again. And my alarm clock is Seize the Day. But for whatever reason, my Spotify, no matter when it hits onto Bluetooth in my car or my earbuds, it's the Newsies cast recording. So it's just kind of like part of my DNA at this point. So I played unofficial Broadway, like Newsies Broadway bingo. So every time I would meet a cast member, I was like, check, check. So Jeff was like the last one for a bingo for myself. And I told him, I said, I wake up to Seize the Day every morning and it's my comfort show. And he was like, what? Like, they don't understand how much of an impact it is, especially people in our age group. I think it's so genius that you've mobilized, 1, songs that we all love, 2, Newsies. Like, that was the most genius play to put you on the map, on top of already being on the map. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. But also, like, Kenny Ortega, one of the most also wonderful human beings.
Okay, so jealous because I freaking love Kenny.
Also, I mean, same. The 3 of us who kind of led this video creation, we're all like a little bit Kenny Ortega fangirls before. I mean, obviously, and because we're all millennial women who grew up on Newsies, and then we're a little too old for High School Musical, but still loved High School Musical. And
Accurate.
like that feeling. But also, some of the original Newsies from the movie shared the video when we released it, and it was just like this really beautiful thing. We had reached out to some of them. A number of them are retired from acting, to see if they were able to come out and be a part of it. And obviously, we turned this around really quickly.
But no Richard Gere.
Kenny came on board like the first week of September, and we filmed like 3 weeks later. So there was a lot of scheduling things. I've also seen all the comments about everyone. There were scheduling things at play if you were looking for someone in the video that wasn't in the video, in particular. But we're so happy with how it came out, and we're so proud of it. And honestly, we're so excited just to see people be excited to vote. I mean, we're getting tagged by fans and performers and people in the industry, especially since early voting started in New York this weekend. It's just so beautiful. And get involved. Like, it's fun. We're a fun group. But
I'm gonna pull your website up one more time, or at least a link for it. So go check out everything we've been talking about tonight, Broadway-Votes with an SVN.org. Or probably if you just Google Broadway Votes, it'll probably come up. But this is a direct
I think
website.
we're the top result. We should be.
I would hope you would be. Otherwise, you guys
hope.
have their website. Go directly to the website, and then you can check out everything that's going on. Learn more. You can watch the video again and again and again and again, like I do. Follow them on Insta. You can contact them. Honestly, that's how I got a hold of Catherine. As I just went, let's connect. They have all the election and event stuff coming up. They're partners. You can learn more about
us.
And then the voting tools.
And if you're so inclined to make a donation too.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be remiss to not mention that.
Look how quickly I hit donate, and then you can choose any amount. So
yes, and all of it goes. We are a nonprofit. We are a 501c3.
Yeah.
So all donations go back to the work, and also creating more things. Hopefully, more things like the Newsies video also in the future. But being able to support, get out the vote efforts across the country is really important to us. Tours are so important to us, and mobilizing them, and also making sure that performers, as they are not home in this season, are equipped and they're able to vote as well.
They know that they can
have their voting plan.
Right. I think that's really smart too. I remember you talked about that when we were first talking, and I'm like, that's a great, like, you don't think about that. And there are several tours constantly traveling. They need to want to vote. And then when they do want to vote, how can they vote? And you provide them the tools to do that as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I know we can talk like another 5 hours, and I love it. We do have a cool giveaway that we talked about. I'm so excited. So Catherine has generously, there we go. Concussion words, it's fine. We've partnered with Broadway Votes. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our own post on the Broadway Fan Club groups. We're going to have one thread. Please post your photo when you vote. If you have the I voted sticker, and obviously we don't want it inside of your polling place, like follow the rules, but like post your best voting selfie, and then hashtag Broadway Votes. You can also tag their socials, so their Instagram, or you can tag them on Facebook, tag them, tag us. And then out of the people that submit their selfies, Catherine, what do they win? Because this is really exciting.
This is very cool.
So everyone who was a part of that music video got a t-shirt, and we are going to give away 5 of these shirts to 5 lucky entries. And so they say Broadway Votes Crew on the front, and on the back they say Seize the Day. And so
large, thank you.
That's fine. And we have size options too. So if you win, we can DM and figure out the best size for you, and we will mail it to you.
I love it. And then I think also Amber had part of a giveaway as well. What are you doing? You're just like, she's like, her head is like down in the lap.
I'm making a graphic for our songs to go vote.
Let me tell you, I taught this girl like basic Canva stuff for like 5 minutes, and that's all she does now. It's great.
That's all I do.
There were these really fantastic Broadway Votes caps, and Amber has graciously offered to donate hers as a prize as well. So we're really excited about that. And we also have some of our fantastic bracelets that say vote. So maybe we'll include that in our giveaway as well. For those of you that are looking to hit up our Etsy shop, you can literally go to the BroadwayFanClub.etsy.com and see all of our vote bracelets, see our Broadway Cares bracelets. Yes, thank you, lovely model Amber. Do what you can, guys. Show your pride. Do what you want. Just also be very aware of what you can and can't do at the polling place. We don't want you showing up in something that they're going to say, sorry, you can't vote today because X, Y, and Z. Make sure you have your ID, right? ID is important.
Well, it depends on the state. Depends on the state. Yeah.
I mean, first off, if you're driving, you should always have your driver's license. But
correct.
To be fair, but just show up, be present, educate yourself. If you have any questions, utilize, what is it, 866 vote. What's
our vote?
Thank you, our vote.
OUR vote.
I love it.
Yes, if you feel like there's any intimidation at your polling place, this is like the worst case scenario. Do not expect this, hopefully, for anyone, right? But if you're experiencing any intimidation, you don't feel like it's safe to vote, you are worried about something happening with your ballot, you don't trust something in the process. There's obviously a lot of discourse out there right now about this stuff. Yeah. Some of it might be real, some of it might not be. But if you have any questions or concerns, call 1-866-OUR-VOTE. Also, you have the right to vote. If you are in line, stay in line. It doesn't matter if they close. If you are in line, stay in line. You get to vote. So just keep all of that in mind.
I learned to make friends in the voting line. I go and get like a dozen donuts or like munchkins. It came from, so I do the Fringe Festival every year, and we do it. We have our like poster day. Bring food to share. Like, go get a dozen Krispy Kremes or Dunkins or Tim Hortons, whatever you're doing, and just make friends in line, because it'll make it go way faster. You don't have to worry about talking. If you feel comfortable talking about your platform, like, just make sure that it's a comfortable conversation for everybody.
And be nice to the poll workers.
Yes, be nice to the poll workers.
They're all most of them are volunteers, y'all. Like, they're just there because they care. So be nice, please. It's a long day. I mean, also, depending on where you live, there might be like some sweet children outside selling baked goods, and support them. It can feel really. Community. So many of us are just chronically online, community, and not community on these things, but like real human community and connection, and like get to know your neighbors.
Where everyone's with the screen in front of them, like, have a face-to-face. Like, yes, we're doing this virtually. Why are we doing this virtually? The three of us are in 3 different states, but we're still coming together for one common goal, and I think that's really important. The only problem I'll ever give Amber about being a poll worker is now I could just say that Amber is working the poll. It's great.
I was waiting for it from you, Heather. Of course.
Love you. But you were talking about volunteers at the polls. Now, Catherine, if people want to volunteer or help out with Broadway Votes, should they email you? What's the best way of doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. We are always looking for volunteers for different things as well. And again, we're still new-ish, right? Like, we're still in our inaugural year. And so we are just looking for people to get involved in general. Also, moving forward, if you have ideas, if you have other ways to be involved, right? Like, if you are connected to a theater near wherever you live, reach out, because we want to build those relationships. Relationships are so important, and I feel so lucky to now know both of you and everyone who's watching. Happy to be. But everyone is in their communities locally or online, right? And everyone has their sub communities online, right? Like, that's the beauty of so much of what you do. And me coming into a place that I don't know and talking, or I'm not connected to, probably isn't going to be very impactful.
Sure.
Connecting with someone within that community has so much greater impact. And this is not something that is voting. Again, it's not a singular activity. It takes all of us to do and mobilize, right? I only have so many hours in my own day, right, to give. Right. But when we all can give a little bit, not everyone has to give the 60 to 80 hours a week many of us working in the space are giving right now. But if everyone can give that 5 minutes right now and text 3 people, that can make a difference, right? And so that's what we're encouraging everyone to do, especially in this last week leading up to the election.
You don't have to worry about finishing it. Just start it. And it doesn't have to be who are you voting for. It's, hey, do you have a way to get to the polls? You want to grab lunch after we go vote? Let's go vote together. Let's go do something encouraging. And I'm serious, Catherine. We're going to start as soon as Amber's done making all these awesome graphics. Oh, we got a puppy tax too. Sorry.
Oh,
hello.
Guys, but it's cool. But let's start working on that like playlist, like some songs. We'll make a post for it. We'll collab on that, and then why not like jam out to some really good songs. And I'm sure there's going to be some stuff songs on there because it needs to be. So
how could there not be?
I would be disappointed if there weren't.
Right.
But I love that idea. Well, Catherine, we've taken up so much of your time. Speaking of all the 80 hours.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're amazing.
Yeah, and you didn't think you could talk for 45 minutes.
All right.
No, I knew I could, but it's more of like I can also ramble for 45 minutes, and so it's really helpful to stay on track.
No, but we're so appreciative. Please, guys, go check out Broadway-Votes.org or Google Broadway Votes or Facebook or Instagram. Please try to get involved.
We're on the TikTok too. There's not a lot to watch, but we do have one.
Same. We do too. And it's like, okay, great. Like, what are we going to do a video of? And then we do something and we're like, we're done. Guys, just be part of the conversation. Feel comfortable enough to be empowered to vote. And if you don't vote, that's okay too. We're not going to threaten you. We're not going to be angry. We're not going to be disappointed. But as long as you're taking it into consideration, just go do it. It's really as easy as just clicking a couple of buttons or making a couple of marks. You do it every day, like Catherine was saying, like you vote on Instagram or you vote on a bracket here. You do a funny little vote for your favorite drink at your favorite bar. Like do something that's going to make a difference. If you have any questions, you always can reach out to us. Me and Amber are always happy to answer questions. Catherine has a whole contact her now that you guys saw directly on the Broadway Votes website. Please reach out to her. She really is just as lovely as she is here, if not more.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Catherine. We'll talk a little bit after we stop our stream. And then, guys, I can't wait to see, 1, your costumes that you're going to post to Broadway Votes. 2, your song suggestions for our playlist. And 3, your I voted selfies. We cannot wait, especially those prizes are so cool. I'm very jealous. Woohoo! It's like t-shirt cannon.
You'll get one, don't worry. But
yeah,
love a good t-shirt. They're very soft. I also really should have started with that. They're very soft. They're jersey material. They're very
very nice.
And make all the quality. Well, we appreciate you so much, Catherine. Thank you again. Guys, check out Broadway Votes. We're not going to be able to stop talking about it. Let's help make a difference in this world.
Make your voting plan.
Yes, make your voting plan. And thanks for joining us, because you guys know when Broadway is dark on Mondays, we keep that ghost light burning. It's Heather, Amber, and our wonderful guest, Catherine, saying have a great night and get your voting plan on, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.